So let me show you guys exactly how to play this champion for the support role. So basically with Xerath, let's add some levels here. So when you're playing Xerath in the mid lane, you typically want to start with Doran's Ring and 2 health potions. For runes, this is what I take. Let me just fast forward time a little bit. Okay, that's good. Let me just teleport over here. Okay, nice. So you start off with Doran's Ring, 2 pots. If you're against an assassin, you'd want to get an armor, 2 armor flex runes. Not 2 armor, you get 2 adaptive and 1 armor. If you're against an AP, you get 2 adaptive and 1 HP, or 1 magic resist. You always want to get 2 adaptive because you want to have that damage. So for runes, I take Arcane Comet, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, and Scorch. And for secondary runes, I take Presence of Mind and Coup de Grace. The reason I take Presence of Mind is that it actually gives you a lot of mana regen when you hit a target. There's no really specific cooldown on it that's been stated within the game itself, so it actually becomes a very nice thing to have, especially when you're landing your skill shots in your lane. You won't really have any trouble with mana. And you also have your passive, which restores mana periodically when you auto attack an enemy champion, or like a pink ward or something like that. So let's spawn a dummy. Spawn an enemy dummy, and I'll show you Coup de Grace. Or not Coup de Grace, sorry. Presence of Mind. I'll just use some of my mana. And then let's hit the dummy. And you can see right here in the hotbar, there is a increased resource regeneration for a period of time. You can see my mana going up. So that's really nice. I just want to make sure that everything's off. Yes. So even when I'm auto attacking this champ, I'm not sure if that's a bug, but it should be when you use an ability on a champion. You will always keep topped up in mana, especially when you're against an enemy champion. It's just so good to have because you won't have any troubles with mana. Some people will usually get the book rune and the not the book rune, sorry, the boots, the free boots that you get at 10 minutes, and then some people also get biscuits. That would be good for a case when you're doing support as Xerath, when you're playing Xerath as a support role rather than a mid lane role. I'd still like the Presence of Mind Coup de Grace on Xerath, just because it gives you an insane amount of mana that you can use to continue using your spells. And here's a note that Xerath is not, like, you don't want to play him aggressively. Like, let's go back mid. Usually I'd like to stay around this area right here, this line here, imaginary line, and then just basically shoot skill shots from here. As Xerath, it is not necessary to go all the way up to the front. Let's say you're facing like a Zed. A Zed is sitting up here, and let's say you're pushed up here. He has a very high chance of just all-inning you, or you could get ganked, right? You could get ganked by the enemy jungler if you're not keeping aware of the surroundings. So as Xerath, the areas I usually like to ward, if you're on blue side for instance, is right here. The reason I don't put it in this bush is because you won't know they're here until they're in the bush. So if you put it here, like right here, you'll have vision of this area, and you'll also have vision of the bush. And you have a little bit of vision on the Scuttle Crab over here. So this is actually a much better ward, I'd say, when you're on blue side. And let's say you're over here, you want to ward here. Well, typically what I do here is I put a pink ward over here. It's like right there. And then usually I put one up here. This one's not too good because you can't see this dark area over here. Another good area is right here. This is a good area to ward even if you're on red side as well. If you're pushed up here, you can ward over here. But also, let's go over here. Let's just flash. you can ward right around here, this bush right here. So this pixel bush and this bush right here. This covers this particular jungle entrance. If you want, I believe you can move it further up to get a little more vision on this side. And also, if you're getting invaded a lot, a good ward is right here, because you have vision of your jungle entrance. But that's really important because as Xerath, especially as you get a higher in your elo when you're playing Xerath, you're going to be in cases of scenario where junglers are more likely to gank you. And they're more likely to turret dive as well. Junglers at higher elo are typically very good at tower diving as Xerath. Xerath becomes pretty useless if he dies early on. So you want to stay pretty far back and shoot your abilities. You want to use your ult. The reason Arcane Comet is good is because the damage output is just much better. And once you go back and like buy your first item, Luden's Echo, here's your path order. So if you're against squishy targets like Zed, or like a squishy mid laner like Vigar, and other squishy top laners, let's say a Kali in the bot lane, and then something like Fiddlestick support, Fiddlestick's jungle, things like that, I'd opt for Luden's Echo or Luden's Tempest, just because it does more damage. If you're against tankier champions, so let's say there's like a Renekton top lane, and you're against Galio mid lane, and then Leon support, that is where I'd opt for Leandry's Anguish. You really want to be mindful of what mythic item you're going on Xerath in specific cases, because you can't sell a mythic item. Once you buy the mythic item, you can't sell it, I'm pretty sure. Here you can, but I don't think you can sell it in-game. So you do that, and then if you're against tanky champions, you go Leandry's, which is good for shredding. Some people do go Demonic Embrace, which is really good against high stacking enemies, high health stacking enemies. This is really good because you get that armor and magic resist, and it gives you health, so it gives you some pretty good survivability. But on Xerath, I'd opt for just more damage. The more damage you do, just the better you have of carrying. Horizon Focus is an item I've been testing out. I feel that it's a good item in certain cases. Not really. Let's say you're really fed. Instead of going Horizon Focus, I just go for like a Death Cap second item. But you can go Horizon Focus because it does give you 100 AP for 3,000 gold, which is actually not too bad. So if you put this, your Leandry's, Horizon, and then Death Cap, that's 450. Then you want to get a Depth Void Staff, usually on Xerath. And if you're really fed, you can get a Zhonya's, or not a Zhonya's, sorry, a Magi's. So this one, Dark Seal, and Magi's. If you manage to stack up your Magi's very well, then you can get up to, let's see, 25 stacks times 5 per stack. That's almost the 75 AP. Right? Sorry, not 75, 125. So that's a lot of AP from this item. And if you're against a Zed, after you get your mythic item, you'd want to go for a Seeker's, stack that up, and go for Zhonya's after. That's usually a very good build. If you're against squishy targets, then in that case you just sell that and go for Luden's Tempest. Because the damaging abilities really help with the wave clear. Xerath already has very good wave clear as a champion. If you're against heavy AP, someone with high kill pressure like LeBlanc or something like that, you could get this Verdant Barrier, which passively gives you magic resist after every 60 seconds, which actually just stacks up very nicely. So this is usually how you want to play Xerath. Play him back, play safe, and you want to hit the enemy champion as you're farming. That's the ideal scenario. So that's the ideal scenario. So this is just a test video. If you guys want more videos on Xerath, please let me know, and I'll be happy to do that.